Amanda stared out the rain-streaked window, lost in thought as the train clattered through the countryside. At 48, she felt her life had become a monotonous routine. Wake up, go to work at the accounting firm, come home to an empty house. Divorced with her only son grown and moved out, she wondered when everything had become so bland and lonely. As the train pulled into the station, Amanda gathered her coat and bag with a sigh. Walking through the chilly drizzle to her car, she was startled by her phone buzzing with a call from an unknown number. "Hello?" Amanda answered hesitantly. "Am I speaking with Amanda Thompson?" an official-sounding male voice asked. "Yes, this is she," Amanda replied, puzzled. "May I ask who's calling?" "This is James Walker from Grayson & Associates law firm. I'm afraid I have some news regarding your great-aunt Beatrice." Amanda searched her memory, vaguely recalling visiting an elderly relative by that name a few times as a young girl. "Has something happened to Aunt Bea? I'm sorry, but I haven't seen her since I was a child." "Miss Thompson, I regret to inform you that Beatrice passed away last week at the age of 94. As her last living relative, you were named the sole beneficiary in her will. If you're available, we'd like you to come to our London offices as soon as possible to discuss the particulars of your inheritance." Amanda leaned against her car, mind reeling. Aunt Bea was dead? And had left everything to her? Yes, of course. I can take the train to London tomorrow. Thank you for contacting me, Mr. Walker." After a fitful night of sleep, Amanda found herself in a posh London law office across a massive oak desk from a distinguished-looking solicitor. "Miss Thompson," James began, "your aunt's estate was not insignificant. In addition to a sizable investment portfolio, she left you a property, Raven Manor." "Raven Manor?" Amanda repeated. "I've never heard of it." "It's a rather isolated country estate a few hours north of the city that has been in your family for generations. Built in the early 1800s, it has not been regularly occupied since your great-aunt moved into a care facility over a decade ago. Beatrice was insistent that the manor be kept in the family and restored to its former glory. As such, she has provided a generous stipend for its renovation and upkeep, on the condition that you agree to reside there, at least part-time, to oversee the work." Amanda blinked in disbelief. A manor house? A renovation budget? It all seemed like something out of a Gothic novel. But what did she have to lose? Maybe a change of scenery and a new project were exactly what she needed to rekindle a sense of adventure and purpose. "When can I see it?" she asked. A week later, Amanda stood at the end of a long gravel drive, gaping up at the massive stone house with its ivy-covered turrets and mullioned windows. The grounds were overgrown, and the edifice was clearly in need of extensive repair. But there was something captivating about its faded grandeur. Amanda felt a strange sense of connection, as if the manor was calling to her from across the centuries. Over the following weeks, Amanda moved into the caretaker's cottage and threw herself into planning the restoration. She pored over old photos and blueprints, familiarizing herself with every inch of her ancestral home. Stripping away the dilapidated wallpaper, repairing plasterwork, refinishing floors, Amanda watched in satisfaction as Raven Manor began to emerge from under years of neglect. Late one night, Amanda was startled awake by what sounded like footsteps coming from the main house. Grabbing a flashlight, she crept across the darkened lawn, heart pounding as she entered the empty manor. The beam of her torch swept across dusty sheets draped over furniture and construction materials. Nothing seemed amiss. Just as she was about to chalk it up to her imagination, the distinct squeak of floorboards sounded overhead. Amanda froze. She was the only one with a key. There shouldn't be anyone else here, especially at this hour. Pulse racing, she slowly climbed the grand staircase to the second floor. A flicker of warm light shone from beneath the double doors at the end of the corridor. Summoning her courage, Amanda pushed open the doors to reveal a magnificent library with floor-to-ceiling shelves and an ornate fireplace, in front of which sat a man in an old-fashioned suit, calmly reading a leather-bound volume. He looked up as she entered, piercing green eyes widening in surprise. "I'm sorry, but who on earth are you, and what are you doing in my house in the middle of the night?" Amanda demanded, trying to keep the tremor from her voice. The handsome stranger rose, bowing slightly. "Forgive me, madam. I am Lucian Blackthorn, master of Raven Manor. I was not expecting anyone to be here at this hour. His speech had a lyrical, almost archaic quality. Amanda gaped at him. That's impossible. The only master of Raven Manor was my great-uncle Henry, who died before I was born. The house passed to my Aunt Beatrice, and now to me. A shadow crossed Lucian's aristocratic features. Henry was my elder brother. There was a terrible scandal, and I was forced to leave England. Everyone assumed I perished abroad. When I finally returned, the manor was abandoned. I only wished to look upon my childhood home one last time before leaving it forever to the ravages of time. But now, his intense gaze met hers. Fate, it seems, had other plans. As a historian, Amanda's mind raced, trying to place where, or rather when, this Lucian was from based on his dress and manner. Early 1900s, perhaps? But that would make him well over a century old. Impossible. And yet, here he stood before her, by all appearances flesh and blood. Over the following days, a tentative friendship blossomed between the modern career woman and the mysterious gentleman seemingly lost in time. Walking the grounds together, Lucian regaled Amanda with tales of the manor's glamorous past, glittering balls in the grand salon, a hidden laboratory where his brother conducted strange experiments, secret passages behind the paneled walls. Captivated by the house's rich history and her enigmatic companion, Amanda found herself increasingly reluctant to return to her old life in the city. Her restoration efforts took on new meaning as she uncovered more clues about the manor's former inhabitants and the cryptic circumstances surrounding Lucian's disappearance all those years ago. Late one stormy night, Amanda found Lucian brooding in the library, staring into the dancing flames. Tentatively, she asked about the long-ago scandal that had torn him from his family and home. Pain etched across his handsome features. Lucian began to recount the tale in halting tones. My brother Henry was always a man of science, consumed by uncovering the secrets of the natural world. But his experiments began to take a darker turn, delving into realms that should not be explored. I begged him to stop, but he grew increasingly unstable, raving about piercing the veil between life and death. One night, I awoke to screams coming from the laboratory. I rushed in to find Henry collapsed over an arcane array, blood pooling across the flagstones. With his dying breath, he cursed me, vowing with his last ounce of foul sorcery to bind my soul to the manor, neither fully living nor dead, until I atoned for failing to save him from his own madness. Amanda listened in stunned silence, the pieces clicking into place. So, when you disappeared, everyone assumed that I murdered my own brother and fled, only to meet my fate abroad. In a way, perhaps I did. I failed him, Amanda. I should have done more to stop him, to get him help. Instead, I turned a blind eye until it was too late. And now, I am trapped in the hellish limbo of my own making. Tears glinted in Amanda's eyes as she reached for Lucian's hand. It was cool to the touch, but solid, real. You can't blame yourself for Henry's choices. You did everything you could. He was lost to his obsessions long before that terrible night. Lucian met her gaze, a flicker of hope dawning in the depths of his eyes. I want to believe that, more than anything. But how can I ever forgive myself? By living, really living. You have a second chance, Lucian. Don't waste it mired in the regrets of the past. Honor Henry's memory by embracing the future. I could help you, if you'd let me. Amanda smiled tentatively, pulse quickening. Unspoken emotion swelled between them as Lucian slowly lifted a hand to caress Amanda's cheek. I never thought I could feel this way again. Amanda, you've given me something I thought lost forever. A reason to hope. As dawn lightened the library windows, Amanda knew her old life was over. She had found her true home, her new beginning, in the crumbling walls of Raven Manor and the arms of its long-lost master. Together, they would rebuild the estate and their lives, leaving the dark secrets of the past behind. The scandals of yesteryear could not touch the love blossoming between them now. Hand in hand, Amanda and Lucian stepped out into the morning light to greet the first day of the rest of their lives, a future filled with love, healing, and the promise of happily ever after. The ghosts of Raven Manor, at last, could rest. Amanda and Lucian threw themselves into the restoration of Raven Manor with renewed vigor, their shared purpose and deepening bond breathing life back into the old house. As the weeks turned into months, the estate began to regain its former luster. Polished hardwood gleamed, crystal chandeliers sparkled, and the once overgrown gardens bloomed with fragrant roses and lavender. Working side by side, they uncovered more secrets of the manor's past: hidden diaries, faded photographs, mysterious artifacts from Henry's ill-fated experiments. Each discovery brought them closer to understanding the tragic events that had shaped Lucian's fate and the house's dark legacy. As their love blossomed, Amanda and Lucian found healing and solace in each other's arms. Lazy mornings spent sipping tea in the sun-dappled conservatory, long walks through the misty moors, evenings curled up by the library fire, lost in quiet conversation. Slowly, the wounds of the past began to mend. One crisp autumn day, as they picnicked on the banks of the burbling stream that wound through the estate, Lucian turned to Amanda with a determined glint in his eye. "I've been thinking," he began, reaching for her hand. "For so long I let myself be defined by that one terrible moment. Henry's death, my curse. But you've shown me that I am more than my past, that I have a future worth fighting for. Amanda, you are my future." Tears welled in Amanda's eyes as Lucian dropped to one knee, a delicate antique ring glinting in his palm. "I never thought I would find love, let alone someone who could see past the shadows to the man I want to be. You've given me hope, purpose, a reason to truly live again. Amanda Thompson, will you do me the extraordinary honor of becoming my wife?" "Yes," Amanda breathed, joy radiant on her face. "Yes, Lucian, 1,000 times yes." As they embraced, the very air around them seemed to shimmer with the weight of the moment. A gentle breeze swirled through the trees, carrying away the last vestiges of the manor's darkness. In that perfect, shining instant, Amanda knew that this was where she was always meant to be, in the arms of her soulmate, in the heart of the house that had called her home. The wedding was a small, intimate affair, held in the manor's resplendent rose garden. Amanda was a vision in a vintage lace gown, Lucian dashing in a tailored suit that echoed the fashions of his youth. As they exchanged vows, the love and devotion shining in their eyes spoke volumes. They had found each other across the centuries, two lost souls united at last. As the years passed, Amanda and Lucian filled Raven Manor with laughter, love, and new memories. The once haunted halls rang with the patter of tiny feet as their children and later grandchildren explored every nook and cranny of their beloved family home. On quiet evenings when the house was still and the children slept, Amanda and Lucian would often find themselves back in the library where it had all begun. Nestled in each other's arms, they would reflect on the incredible journey that had brought them together. The joy, the sorrow, the second chances. "I still can't quite believe it sometimes," Lucian would murmur, pressing a kiss to Amanda's silvered hair. "That after all those lost, lonely years I found you, that we found each other." Amanda would smile, tracing the lines of his face, still so handsome, even as time etched its gentle marks. "It was meant to be, my love. Across time, across worlds, our hearts knew the way." And as they held each other close, the portraits of generations past looking down upon them in silent approval, Amanda and Lucian knew that theirs was a love that would endure, as timeless and eternal as the stones of Raven Manor itself. A love that had conquered darkness, transcended death, and rewritten the very stars. A love that would be forever woven into the tapestry of the house's history, a testament to the power of second chances and the unbreakable bonds of the human heart. In the end, that is the true legacy of Raven Manor. Not the scandals and sorrows of the past, but the love and redemption found within its walls. For in that ancient house, two lost souls found their way home, and in doing so, discovered the most precious treasure of all. A love that will echo through eternity, a shining beacon of hope and healing for all who hear their tale. And so, as the sun sets over the moors and the lights of Raven Manor flicker to life, we leave Amanda and Lucian to their hard-won happily ever after, secure in the knowledge that their love will endure, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of second chances. For in the end, that is the true magic of their story, a reminder that even in our darkest hours, hope and love will always light the way home.